Hey, it's Ethan Skolnick with Alex Toledo here at Kaseya Center. After the Miami Heat go to 2-1 on the season with a win against Detroit Pistons. They've done what they had to do after a poor opener against Orlando. They've beaten two bad teams, and now they get the Knicks on Wednesday. This was Dwyane Wade's statue night after yesterday was Dwyane Wade's statue evening. So a lot of conversation about that. Good to see Dwyane again. Crowd did the MVP thing. He explained himself or defended the statue before the game. And then the Heat went through stretches of this game where they didn't defend at all. But they do win. They do win. And a few things I took out of this. First thing, we talked about Hero and Rozier getting comfortable together. They do look comfortable together, the TNT backcourt. Missed a lot of shots after the first quarter, but they were in and out. The process, I thought, was good. I think you'll take it. They took the bulk of the shots for the Heat. That's a consistent thing. But the biggest thing I'm taking out of tonight is that you got efficient Jimmy Butler. You got efficient, engaged Jimmy Butler. I think he ended up with 23 points on 11 shot attempts, also with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 or 5 steals. If they get this Jimmy, he doesn't have to score 35 for them. But, again, we have to see it against good teams. I mean, we've seen it now against Charlotte, against Detroit. The Knicks coming up on Wednesday. Bam, we're not seeing the threes. Instead, we're seeing them from Thomas Bryant. His overall stat line was pretty good, 12, 10, 4. I think he had 3 blocks and 3 steals as well. But he does not seem, I don't know, in the preseason it looked like he was going to take another step. We're not seeing it so far. But, again, they're 2-1. This is where we expected them to be at this point of the season. And they've got a lot of stuff to clean up.
Well, really, at this point now, like the Jimmy thing you saw tonight against the Pistons, there was certain matchups that they kept going to where they would get the guy to screen for him, and then Jimmy would get the mismatch and he would go to work. And Jimmy, we know that Jimmy can go to this. It's his bread and butter, his way of getting not only easy buckets, but getting to the free throw line when guys overcommit or sometimes fall in the pump fake. Like, we've seen it all for years. The problem is, like you mentioned, against those Magic teams or any other team that has size at every position, where you can't just have a guy or two in every lineup that you can pick at. Because after that, that's where you got to start getting creative and start finding different ways of offense. The good news is that I think Tyler and Terry, even though the results have varied a little bit, I think those two have been encouraging playing together as far as the offensive side of the floor. I think the defense has been okay there from them. But specifically, them playing off of each other, it hasn't really felt like a problem. I mean, the third quarter was really ugly for them again. And that's been a consistent theme, the third quarter troubles and getting killed in the offensive glass this year. They're usually one of the best defensive rebounding teams, have been throughout the Jimmy era. That hasn't really been the case so far. And so I think those are some of the things that you got to fix, because that third quarter, they went away from running actions. Like, they were swinging the ball at certain points. The Pistons were running down their throat in transition, just getting a bunch of easy buckets, not having to rely on their half-court offense. And I think once the Heat kind of got out of that funk in the fourth quarter, I mean, they went on like a 15-0 run or something. And, it's a game of runs, but they did it off their defense. And it's something that we've been talking about for years. So, it's mid-season form here with the Heat.
Yeah, I don't know why I gave you that. I'm supposed to be holding that. Anyway, we're not in mid-season form yet. 2 other takeaways tonight. Haywood Highsmith, I thought, changed the tenor of this game with his defense on Cade Cunningham. That seems to be his role. He's not necessarily in the first half rotation right now. Alec Burks is. But Highsmith did the things in the second half that they need him to do when he does play. And Jaime Jaquez seems to be getting more and more comfortable, and he closed tonight. He closed. Wasn't Jovic. We're not expecting it to be Jovic most of the time, but he closed with the other 4 starters. That's the closing lineup that we expect to see as the season develops. So some green shoots here for the Heat, but also, like I said, some things to clean up. There's some weeds. They got to figure some of this stuff out before they play the Knicks on Wednesday. Ethan Skolnick, Alex Toledo at Kaseya Center. Again, the Dwyane Wade stuff is done, we think, for now. Maybe not.